What is going on, everyone? We had a phenomenal day of college football. When you look at some of the big name teams, they got the job done. They did exactly what they needed to. Clemson, Georgia going into Mizzou. You have West Virginia, Miami, Ohio State, LSU. You have these big time squads. Michigan winning when they needed to against lower end teams, getting the job done. And then you had big market games. You had Stanford coming back against Oregon, and this tastes a little sweet to me because I took Stanford money line. So this is beautiful, the way that they came back from a 14-0 deficit and a 24-7 deficit and won the football game in Oregon in overtime. It was just absolutely outstanding. The first half for Stanford, sloppy. Couldn't get anything going offensively. Couldn't stop the run game. Couldn't stop the passing game either. Their defense was just all over the place in the first half. And then they found a rhythm. And then the second half, some turnovers were created. Then a fumble recovery taken to the house. I mean, just a lot of things occurred on their favor in the second half that got their rhythm going, their momentum going, and they won the football game. On Oregon, just outstanding play by Mitchell. 239 yards and 14 receptions. He was a beast, an absolute beast. You could not stop him today when it came to catching the football. Bryce Love, 89 yards, had himself a touchdown. Costello, quarterback for Stanford, 327 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the Oregon quarterback, 346 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception. That game was outstanding. The fight from Stanford to come back in Oregon, I mean, that place was loud. That place was electric. They were up big, and to fight, and to continue to fight, and to make adjustments in the second half, and find a way to really grind out a big time win in overtime to catch a touchdown on a tipped ball going into the end zone. Outstanding game. Outstanding game. And then we had Alabama. We had Alabama play Texas A&M at home, 3:30. Jimbo Fisher coming in here with a new type of team. He's trying to build a different kind of culture at Texas A&M. Now, granted, Alabama is on a whole different level, an insanely different level. You have Tua throwing for 4 touchdowns and rushing for 1, a total of 5. That guy is special. You have their defense, their pass rush. It's crazy. Their cornerback play, getting interceptions, it's wild what they have. They are strong. They are lethal. They are legit. It's scary. It's scary what Alabama has. I don't think they're ever going to lose. But Jimbo Fisher's team, if there's one thing to look at A&M and say they did very well, it was stopping the run. You had Nick Saban come out in the second half and try and make a statement. He said, we're going to pound the rock. If we want to win football games, we are going to have to demand the style of play that we're playing. We're going to have to take control and say, if we want to run it, we're going to have to run it. But Texas A&M did a good job at actually stopping the run during this game. But Alabama has too much firepower at the end of the day to be able to stop the run and think that you're going to win the football game. They just have too many weapons. They really do. When you look at their stat lines, Tua 387 yards. You have their wide receiver Ruggs, 84 yards. When you look at A&M, their quarterback, he throws 2 interceptions. Alabama's defense just being lethal, and they're just too much. They're too much. They really are. You have Judy, 6 receptions, 78 yards. That kid's a special talent on the outside, that's for sure. Very special. Moving on to some other games, Notre Dame, you have their backup quarterback in. They win 56-17. Ian Book, he ends up throwing for 2 touchdowns and rushing for 3. The kid was lethal, stepping in for Winbush, getting the job done. And with Notre Dame, they've won games, obviously, but they haven't been purely dominating games. They had to grind them out and win. This game was a pure, insanely, very solid win. They went in there and got the job done and won the football game. Clean, played solid, won it offensively, won it defensively. They made really good plays out there, and they won the game easily. And we haven't really seen that out of the Notre Dame squad. So here's some upsets, because there were quite a few of upsets. Purdue beats Boston College, a 23rd ranked BC team. And Purdue, their record doesn't scream anything crazy, but at home, they're obviously a good football team, and they end up upsetting Boston College. Maybe BC came in there thinking, oh, Purdue, look at their record, we're going to win. Well, joke's on them, because Purdue can play even though their record's not great. Old Dominion upsets number 13 Virginia Tech 49-35. Oh my goodness. Stunned to see that outcome. I expected more out of Virginia Tech. But good for Old Dominion. That's solid. That's solid. TCU falls to Texas 31-16. Sean Robinson just throwing interceptions. He was off. And when your quarterback's off, you're not going to be effective. That TCU team as a whole was just not locked in, not dialed in. I don't know if it's because they're coming off a game against Ohio State and then they need to somehow lock into a Texas team. I don't know how that really would change anything. They're both big-time teams, big-time schools. That one's iffy. Mississippi State falls to Kentucky. Bad. 28-7. Mississippi State was ranked 14th in the country. Could not move the ball at all. Oklahoma State falls at Texas Tech 41-17, and Wisconsin bounces back from that brutal loss to BYU as they take Iowa. And people really did think Iowa was going to win this game at home. They obviously have that type of culture where they're hardworking, they grind, but Wisconsin just had a little bit too much firepower and got the job done. When it's all said and done, that was a good day of football. A lot of upsets, as you can see. Alabama dominating a really, really exciting game in that overtime finish with Oregon and Stanford. Good day of college football. Let me know your thoughts on some of these games. What did you think about the Stanford comeback? How do you feel about Alabama? Because I just can't imagine them ever ever losing a football game. They're too good. They're too good. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.